So the first thing you're going to have to do when you're setting up is to set up a track for the vehicle runs. The track needs to be at least 2 meters wide. There needs to be a starting point on a 5 centimeter piece of tape that's 2.5 centimeters wide. It's literally just a dot in the middle of the tape. 8 meters away from that dot will be the cup target point. It's on the same size tape, also with a dot, and the dots should be in a straight line one to another. Between those 2 points is the vehicle target point. For regionals, this is between 1 and 2 meters back from the cup target point, and it is at 0.1 meter intervals. The supervisor chooses the exact distance, and that distance is announced after impound. So your options are 1.0 meters back, 1.1 meters back, 1.2 meters back. You get the idea, all the way up to 2.0 meters. The vehicle target point is also offset from the center line. For regionals, the offset is 0.1 meters to the right as you're facing the cup target point. Before the competition begins, there is an impound for this event. Students must come and bring 3 things with them. First of all, their vehicle must be impounded. Second of all, a log must be impounded. And third would be any spare parts or pieces that they want to use during the competition. Now, the vehicle and the spare parts I think are pretty self-explanatory. The log must have at least 10 runs, and it must measure 3 specific criteria: the vehicle distance, the cup distance, and the run time. There also must be a 4th criteria. Most of the time, it will be the number of winds that the students use to get it to reverse. To prepare for the vehicle runs, you should print a score sheet for each team competing. The score sheets are available on the national website. When teams arrive to compete, you should complete a check-in, which will allow you to complete up to Part 3F on the score sheet. Simply answer the yes or no questions. A 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter tape outline on a table makes determining the size much easier. A piece of foam board may be used to check and make sure that the wheels are within the 40 centimeters as well. The parts of the score sheet starting with 3G will need to be done once the students begin the competition. The students will have 8 minutes to do up to 2 runs. The clock starts when the students get on the track to set up, and the clock stops when judges are measuring. The students may not make any modifications to the vehicle until their 8 minutes have started. When the students get to the starting point, the vehicle must start with the cup over the starting point. You need a 3-ounce paper cup. That cup must be covering the starting point. The vehicle can be anywhere behind that as long as the cup is touching the dowel at the start. Once the vehicle starts moving, the dowel does not need to continue to touch the cup. Students may not hold the vehicle still. The vehicle must remain in place before they start it. Students should count down to start. 3, 2, 1, start. And when they say start, they should push the pencils down in a perpendicular motion, and at the same time, the timers start the timers. Timing stops when vehicle stops. If the vehicle goes backwards, that is considered a failed run. When the vehicle stops, you're going to pause the 8-minute timer so that you can measure the distances necessary for scoring. First, you'll need the cup distance. If the cup covers the cup target point, then the cup distance equals 0. If it does not cover the point, you're going to measure from the closest part of the cup to the dot to the nearest 0.1 centimeter. That will be the cup distance. The vehicle distance is measured from the dowel to the vehicle target point to the nearest 0.1 centimeters. If the vehicle needs to be moved in order to measure, place a piece of tape under the dowel and have a student move the vehicle so that you can measure the distance. Complete the remaining parts of the score sheet by filling in the distances and the times from each timer. Once measuring is complete, timing starts again when students touch the vehicle or when they begin making their own measurements. Students may complete a second run if time remains. The lower score of the 2 runs will be counted. The vehicle must be in a ready-to-run position before the 8 minutes is up in order to do a second run. So on the national website, you'll find this spreadsheet that helps you to do your scoring for the Mousetrap vehicle. So once you have completed a score sheet, you can come to this spreadsheet and fill in the information required. So you'll see I have 3 schools entered for my competition, and I already completed across the top here my first school. And you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4 are simply yes or no. Yes, we met those criteria. No, we didn't. And those are summaries from the first 4 sections on the score sheet. My vehicle distance in centimeters, my cup distance in centimeters, and then my 3 timers. And then yes or no, is it a failed run? And then you're going to do 11 through 18 for the second run. If there is a second run, you're going to fill in that information just like you did for the first one. When you get to the logs, you'll see that this is a drop-down menu. So let me just do this second one here with you. So you'll see as I go through, I'm just making this up as I go along. Let's suppose this was a really good run and they did an amazing job. So I'm going to say their vehicle distance was 2.2 centimeters away. And I'm going to say that the cup distance was 0. I'm going to say they were right on. And then their timing, I'm going to say was 15.1, 15.2, 15.3, and it was not a failed run. I'm going to say yes, they had a complete log, and I'm going to say no, they didn't have bad sportsmanship. Now, notice the score is 17.4 here. However, the tier is third because over here, they had a construction violation. The spreadsheet automatically tiers your teams for you. And so you can see that even though this team has a lower score of 17.4, they're ranked second behind the other team. So the spreadsheet does all of this for you. I highly recommend using the spreadsheet. I don't know how you would do this without the spreadsheet. It would be a real mess. So let me just fill in one other sheet, one other school, just so that you can see. Give me a second here. So here we are. I'm at the point where I'm going to do the log. Now I want to show you what happens when the log is wrong. Let's suppose that this team didn't have a complete log and they were missing one of the criteria. Maybe they only had 8 instead of 10 runs that they did, or they were missing one of the specific things they were supposed to measure. Notice what has happened to this score. So by going from a complete log to an incomplete log, it is a 250-point penalty. And so what should be a really good run becomes a horrendous run. And so they're ranked second, again, because of the tiering. That tier 3 drops this group down, even though they have a really good run. As you go through, no matter how many teams you have, you can see the spreadsheet is set up for a huge number of teams. But if you fill this in using those score sheets, it will rank them. You'll get a final ranking here. It really is an amazing tool for scoring.